Here are some scary stories that will make your blood run cold. The first one is called The Memories of the Dead. In 2016, a group of divers explored the depths of the Baltic Sea off the coast of Finland. The frigid waters were once a busy trade route until a storm sank several ships, leaving their cargo and their crews at the bottom of the sea. Now, these wrecks are so well preserved that they're like time capsules from another era. And this is what makes them so dangerous, because sometimes when you disturb the past, it fights back. One of the divers descended into the dark water and swam toward the shadowy hulk of a sunken ship. It was an old schooner that had sunk back in 1890. The top of its masts protruded from the surface like broken bones, and its hull was completely covered with mussels and algae. As he got closer, he could see through the murky water that the deck was barely visible beneath all the marine growth. Still, he wanted to see what was below, so he put his hands on the railing and braced himself and began to dive down into the icy depths. As soon as his hand touched the decaying wood, he felt a jolt shoot through his arm. He tried to pull away, but it was too late. The world around him seemed to explode into a blinding white light, and then everything went black. When he came to, he was lying on the shore, gasping for breath. His heart was pounding in his chest, and he could feel the eyes of his friends boring into him. They were asking him questions, but he couldn't hear what they were saying. All he could do was shake his head and try to get his bearings. What had happened to him? Had he been diving for too long? Was he getting sick? He didn't know. Then slowly, as if from a great distance, he heard a voice begin to speak. It was the voice of one of the sailors, who had died on the ship all those years ago. And what he was saying brought the others back in a rush. He remembered everything. He remembered how the storm had come out of nowhere, how the waves had tossed them about like a toy boat, how the mast had snapped and the ship had begun to sink. He remembered the terror on the faces of the crew as they realized they were going to die. He remembered the icy water and the crushing pressure as the ship went down. And most of all, he remembered the haunting cry of the captain as he went down with his ship. The diver had never read about these men or heard of the ship before he dove in, yet somehow he now knew every detail of its final moments. As he looked at his friends, he saw that their faces were pale and their eyes were wide with fear.
Oh.
They had seen what he had seen and heard what he had heard, and they knew that they weren't alone. The dead had risen again to tell their story. And now the diver wondered if he would ever be able to escape their watery grave. Because these wrecks aren't just rusting metal, they're vessels of memory. And sometimes those memories refuse to stay at rest. Now this next story is going to blow your mind.